Guys, this project nearly drove me to insanity. The printing and building of this ridiculously sized thing was a mad adventure in its own right, but attempting to produce a professional looking paint job, being just an amateur myself, on something this large meant there was literally nowhere to hide when it came down to the small matter of visual quality. So from tiny wins to massive restarts, does this painting project become a thing of legend fit for the God of War himself? Stick around and find out. The next real step is to spatter a load of red all over his skin. This is the start of the underlying texture that makes the skin textures look more realistic than just flat skin tones. So the red is really watered down, and the PSI is like 5 to 10. It's tiny, and it's just a little bit of a spatter, as you can see on the paper. They also use the red to sort of tone in all the recesses in his muscles. I then did the next layer, which was Nomad Flesh. Again, very thin, really low PSI, and as you can see, it's really just to give a bit of a coating but still show through all the red spots from earlier. And then the same process repeated with bleached bone, because I want to make him look pale and washed out. So as you can see, everything's quite subtle at the moment and keeping things quite light. I don't want to go too heavy too quickly and have to backtrack or repaint stuff. And you can see with the speckles are still really visible on the head, and that gives a really good base for a very textured and rich skin effect. And then I took to the brush as I mixed up a purple and started dabbling all over his face and his skin to give a sort of capillary sort of effect. Again, very thin and subtle and using a light touch. Once I was confident that I wouldn't need to use the airbrush again at this point, now was a good time to block in his facial hair. This helps to make the head and face look more realistic, so it's easier to judge whether the skin is looking good or not. Now here we come to the part that is easily the most difficult and terrifying part of any paint project that I undertake, if it's got eyes, and that's eyes. As usual, I'll start with a dark grey first and then a light grey over the top. And the fiddly bit that always takes a long time is trying to draw the iris, remembering that it's slightly cropped top and bottom. But this time around it was a lot easier, and the reason being is I've decided to invest in some really good Kolinsky sable brushes like these ones from Rosemary & Co. There is an affiliate link in the description below. I do get a small commission, very small, if anybody purchases using that link. Not many people do, but if you would, that would be amazing and would really support the channel. Ironically, I'm there plugging decent paintbrushes just as the footage starts to show me using a toothpick to add the pupil. But I do switch back to the brush for a specular highlight in the eye, and then use an older brush to add some gloss to the eyes to give it that lifelike look. Here I'm simply dabbling on a bit of bleach bone to take a bit of the red out of the skin tones. Then I use white Tamiya thin masking tape and standard masking tape to mask off where his red tattoo should go, and then splatter it with a thin coat of Rebel Red. And because the masking was a bit thin underneath the eye, I'll just go in by hand and just give everything a little bit of an improvement. And then dab on some of that light skin tone onto the red to make it break up, to make it look a bit aged. So apart from his tongue looking a little bit weird, I just love how the eyes have sort of come to life. and that the layered painting effect of the skin has survived through all the other parts of the process. I decided to do the rest of the tattoo by hand because masking it would just be impossible. And just as this background track is coming to an end, I've been really enjoying editing a little bit differently, where I choose the music first and edit a bit more to the music, and a little bit less waffle from me. So if you've been enjoying it too, remember to like, subscribe, comment and share. All positive interactions signal to YouTube that people are enjoying the content. It pushes it out more, and it's the only real way that my channel will grow, and I really appreciate the help. Right, where's the DJ gone? He's got a beat to drop. So as you can see in the footage, I've been base coating all the other stuff, all the leather and things like that, and all these cladding in various different browns. And then to give it a bit of definition, I've gone in using the old sepia washes and also using the relatively newer speed paint technique, as handily demonstrated by my mime here. I must have forgotten that there was going to be a VO included with this video when I did that footage. But nevertheless, it's all worked out really well, and you can see the richness that the washes and the speed paints have added. So these monoliths and the base as well were an absolute bane of my life. I've repainted them all about a dozen times, trying to balance a sort of glow effect on the runes on the monoliths, and also a snow on rocks sort of feel to the base. And don't get me started on the intricate carving of the rim of the base. Oh my days. But for a happy distraction, Mimir's come along. His skin was painted using the same technique as Kratos, but just using darker, warmer tones to start with. And yeah, I cheated and used a pen for all the runes. So with these cool knives that are going to go on his back, I decided to try for the first time a kind of version of non-metallic metallic. It might not be perfect, but I learned a lot doing it, and I had fun, and I think it looks okay. Here it is, all painted up, complete with a blue ink wash down the sort of runes channels. So I tried a few times to get the ink to sort of work on the battle axe, but because of the FDM lines, it was too sort of textured, it didn't really work. So even despite trying to airbrush a sort of glow effect, although it kind of looked a bit like the reference photograph, it just looked like a mess, to be honest, to the untrained eye. So this was another part that I repainted a few times and ended up with a bit of a different look and feel to it than what was in the original reference photograph. To cut a long story short, I decided to paint the axe a sort of metallic blue and do away with the white glow effect. The shield just had brown speed paint painted over the base undercoat and then dry brushed with gold, just so it didn't look like some big fake metallic paint splattered thing. Then I added some strategically placed pure white highlights to make for those really strong specular highlights that you can see on metals. For the carving around the bottom of the base, I decided to go for a sort of cold, frosted blue, sort of Arctic look to fit with the snow that's on the base. So I think that is pretty much everything. But before I give the final full reveal and show you all the sexy hero shots, I just want to give a big shout out to my Patreon members. It's only been going 2 weeks and I've already got quite a lot of members, much more than I actually thought. So really, I can't say thank you enough to you guys. It's because of support like this that I can actually carry on doing this channel. And it's not just from support on Patreon, it's from all the great feedback and the comments and interactions I've had on my videos. If it weren't for everybody who's engaged with me positively, then I guarantee I would not still be doing this channel. So thank you so much. So drop a like, drop a comment, head over to Patreon and see if you like the perks on offer. But before you head off, stick around and take a look at the finally finished God of War.